In 5 minutes, everything changed. At 11:42 p.m., I walked into room 412 to check vitals on a car accident patient, Kyung-woo Choi, Korean, mid-30s, dark hair slicked back, a black dragon tattoo crawling up his neck. 2 guards outside his door in black suits that screamed money and violence. The kind of patient you handle carefully and forget quickly. His chart said saline and antibiotics, standard protocol. Except there were 2 IV lines running into his arm. The second bag was green, murky, wrong. My stomach dropped before my brain caught up. That green bag had a small yellow sticker on the front, a hazard symbol, a warning, and a strip of tape covering part of the label like someone didn't want it read clearly. I checked his chart again. No second IV ordered, no doctor's signature, no approval code. Someone had hung that bag manually. If you think this is about a medical error, it's not. I watched his heart monitor, 72 beats per minute, then 68, then 64. The green liquid was killing him. If you think this is about saving a stranger, it's not. I shouldn't be saying this, but the moment I saw that hazard label, I knew this wasn't negligence. This was murder. And if I walked away, I'd be complicit. If I stayed, I'd become a witness they couldn't afford to keep breathing. I moved toward the IV pole, hands shaking, when the door opened behind me. Dana Reeves, the other night nurse, blonde, friendly, always eager to help. She smiled at me. "Maris, what are you doing?" I froze, my fingers inches from the green bag. Her eyes dropped to my hand, then back to my face. Still smiling. "That IV's sealed," she said softly. "Don't touch it." And that's when I realized she knew exactly what was in that bag. Be honest. If you were invisible in a room full of dangerous men and you noticed something no one else did, would you speak up, or would you stay silent to survive? If you're already feeling the tension in the room, stay with me. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from, because once this moment unfolds, there's no turning back. I didn't move. Dana stood in the doorway, still smiling that empty, perfect smile, the kind that doesn't reach the eyes. "It's contaminated," I said quietly. "Contaminated?" She stepped closer, tilting her head. "I just hung that bag 30 minutes ago. It's sealed, hospital issued. There's a hazard label on it. That's a pH warning, totally normal for that medication." I met her eyes. "There's no medication ordered, Dana." For half a second, her expression flickered. Something cold moved behind her face. Then the smile returned. "You must have missed it in the system. I'll double-check with the attending." She reached for the green bag. I grabbed her wrist. The air in the room changed. Dana pulled her hand back slowly, still smiling, but her voice dropped an octave. "Maris, you're making a mistake." "Then let me make it." She stared at me for a long moment. Then she turned and walked out. I locked the door behind her. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely grip the IV clamp. I stopped the drip from the green bag, prepped a replacement saline line, and started disconnecting the poison tubing. Kyung-woo's heart rate climbed, 66, 70, 74. He was stabilizing. Then his eyes opened. Groggy, confused, but aware. His gaze dropped to the green IV bag in my hand, then back to my face. "Who?" His voice was rough, barely a whisper. "My name is Maris. I'm your nurse. Someone just tried to poison you." His pupils sharpened. Real fear flashed across his face. Then the door exploded open. 4 men stormed in, not hospital security. Kyung-woo's men. The first one grabbed my arm and slammed me against the wall. "What did you do to him?" "I saved him," I shouted. "The IV was poisoned." "She's lying." Dana's voice came from the hallway, calm, controlled. "I found her tampering with his medication." The man's grip tightened around my throat. "You tried to kill him." I couldn't breathe. The guard's hand was a vice around my throat, lifting me until my toes barely scraped the floor. His face was stone. No anger, no hesitation, just cold execution. "Wait," Kyung-woo's voice cut through the room like a blade. The guard froze, but didn't release me. Kyung-woo sat up slowly, wincing. The oxygen line taped under his nose hissed softly. His eyes, sharp, calculating, moved from me to the green IV bag still clutched in my other hand. Put her down. The guard hesitated. Boss, she was tampering. I said put her down. My feet hit the floor. I gasped, coughing, my throat on fire. Kyung-woo gestured toward the bag. Show me. I held it up with shaking hands. The yellow hazard sticker caught the light. He leaned forward, squinting at the label beneath the tape. Then he looked at Dana, still standing calm in the doorway. You hung this. Yes, Dana said smoothly. Dr. Parnell called it in remotely, a metabolic booster, special request from your family. Kyung-woo's jaw tightened. My family doesn't make medical requests. Silence. Dana's smile finally cracked. One of the other guards stepped forward, examining the bag. He turned it over, studied the label, then looked at Kyung-woo. This isn't ours, boss. We supply all your medical equipment. This bag didn't come from us. The room went dead quiet. Kyung-woo's eyes never left Dana. Who sent you? She didn't answer, just stood there, that broken smile frozen on her face. He nodded once. 2 guards grabbed her arms. She didn't resist, didn't scream, just looked at me with eyes that promised something worse than death. You don't know what you just did, Maurice. They dragged her into the hallway. The door slammed shut. I stood there, still holding the poisoned IV bag, my entire body trembling. Kyung-woo leaned back against the pillows, watching me with an expression I couldn't read. You saved my life, he said quietly. I did my job. No, he shook his head. You risked your life. If you'd been wrong, my men would have killed you. I swallowed hard. I know. His phone buzzed. He answered without breaking eye contact with me. Run deep background on Dana Reeves and find out who authorized her hire. He hung up. Someone inside this hospital just tried to frame you for my murder. My blood went cold. They moved me to a windowless office on the 6th floor. 2 guards outside, 1 door. Kyung-woo sat across from me, still pale but alert. The oxygen line was gone now, just him and me and the weight of what had almost happened. Tell me everything, he said. So I did, the timeline, the second IV line, Dana's fake doctor's order, the hazard symbol, the heart rate drop, every detail I could remember. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he leaned back and exhaled slowly. Dana Reeves isn't a real nurse. I blinked. What? She's been working here 6 months on a stolen license. Her real name is Dana Kwon. He paused. She works for the Gwangju syndicate. My stomach dropped. The people who want you dead. Yes. I thought about all the times Dana had helped me, brought me coffee, covered my breaks, smiled and joked about difficult patients. It was all a lie. She was gathering information, Kyung-woo continued. Schedules, access codes, blind spots, and when the opportunity came, she made her move. Why frame me? His answer was blunt. Because you're disposable. A night shift nurse with no family in Seattle, no close friends at the hospital. If you'd been blamed, the investigation would have ended with you. I felt sick. The poison in that IV, it's called Vexal 9, untraceable in an autopsy if the body's cremated within 48 hours. Symptoms mimic heart failure. So if you died, they would have blamed the car accident or hospital negligence, and you would have been the last person in my room before I flatlined. Dana would have testified I was acting strange, that I swapped the IV without authorization, that I seemed nervous. And I'd be in prison for murder. A knock came at the door. One of the guards stepped in, holding an evidence bag. We secured the IV. Hospital security's reviewing footage now. Kyung-woo took the bag. The green liquid sloshed inside. This is all we have, he said to me. If the lab confirms Vexal 9, we can prove the hit. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. The lights went out. Not a flicker, not a brownout, complete darkness. Emergency power kicked in 3 seconds later, bathing the office in red. Ka-young-woo moved instantly. He grabbed my wrist and pulled me behind the desk. Stay down. What's happening? They're here. Gunfire erupted in the hallway. Sharp cracks followed by screaming. The guards outside our door shouted commands I couldn't understand. Then silence. Ka-young-woo's hand moved to his waistband. He pulled out a black pistol I hadn't noticed before. The door handle turned slowly. He raised the gun. The door opened. A man in black tactical gear stepped inside, raising a suppressed pistol. Ka-young-woo fired first. The shot was deafening in the small room. The man stumbled backward into the hallway. But another one came through. Ka-young-woo lunged. They collided, crashing into the wall. The assassin's gun went off once, twice, bullets punching into the ceiling tiles. Plaster rained down. I grabbed the only thing within reach, a metal stapler from the desk, and swung it as hard as I could. It connected with the side of the assassin's head. He dropped. Ka-young-woo grabbed the man's gun and pressed it against his throat. Who sent you? The man laughed, blood trickling from his mouth. You'll never prove it. Ka-young-woo's jaw clenched. We already have the IV bag. The assassin's smile widened. No, you don't. My stomach dropped. Ka-young-woo looked at the guard who'd been holding the evidence bag earlier. The man stood frozen in the doorway, face pale. Where's the IV? I left it on the counter right there. We all looked. The evidence bag was gone. Ka-young-woo stood slowly, his expression unreadable. He turned to me. They took it. The only proof that someone tried to poison him. The only thing that could clear my name and prove the conspiracy. Vanished. Hospital security rushed in seconds later, shouting orders. They cuffed the assassin and dragged him away. But I couldn't move. Because now I understood. Without that evidence, I was the easiest person to blame. A nurse with access. A nurse who'd been alone in his room. A nurse who'd tampered with his IV. Dana's plan was still working. Even in handcuffs. Think about this for a second. She stopped a murder, and now she's being framed for it. What would you do if saving someone's life made you the prime suspect? If this has you on edge, subscribe and hit like, because what happens next will make you question everything. And drop a comment. Would you have touched that IV bag knowing what it could cost you? They separated us. Hospital security took me to a conference room on the 3rd floor. Fluorescent lights, gray walls, a table bolted to the floor. A detective arrived 20 minutes later. White guy, 50s, tired eyes, badge clipped to his belt. Detective Morris. He sat across from me, pulled out a notepad, and clicked his pen. Walk me through your shift tonight. I told him everything. The green IV bag, the hazard label, Dana's fake doctor's order, the heart rate dropping, my decision to swap the lines. He wrote slowly, nodding occasionally. When I finished, he looked up. And you're sure there was a second IV bag? My throat tightened. Yes. Because we can't find it. Security footage shows you entering Mr. Choi's room at 11:42 p.m. You were alone with him for 8 minutes. No one else came in. Dana was there. She walked in while I was switching the lines. He flipped through his notes. Dana Reeves left the floor at 11:30 p.m. She clocked out for her break. Cafeteria cameras confirm she was downstairs until 11:55. That's impossible. I saw her. Did anyone else see her? I opened my mouth, closed it. No. The guards had been outside. Ka-young-woo had been unconscious. It was just me and Dana in that room. Detective Morris leaned forward. Ms. Halston, I need you to understand the position you're in. A high-profile patient nearly died on your watch. You admit to tampering with his IV without authorization, and the evidence you claim exists has disappeared. I didn't tamper with it. I saved him. That's your version. It's the truth. He closed his notepad. Mr. Choi's attorneys are requesting a full investigation. The hospital's already suspended you pending review. And if toxicology finds anything unusual in his blood work, the DA's office will be involved. My hands were shaking. I'm a nurse. I've worked here for 3 years. Why would I poison a patient? That's what we're trying to figure out. He stood, tucking the notepad into his jacket. Don't leave Seattle, Ms. Halston. The door closed behind him. I sat there alone, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. They were building a case against me. And I had nothing to prove my innocence. They let me go at 3:47 a.m. No charges, not yet. I walked out of that conference room into a hospital that suddenly felt hostile. Nurses I'd worked with for 3 years looked away when I passed. Security followed me to the locker room. I changed out of my scrubs in silence. My phone buzzed, unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Ms. Halston, Kyung-woo's voice, meet me in the parking garage, level 3, now. I can't, the detective said. I know what he said, level 3, 5 minutes. He hung up. I shouldn't have gone. Every instinct screamed at me to go home, lock my door, and disappear. But I went anyway. The parking garage was empty, except for a black SUV idling near the stairwell. The back door opened as I approached. Kyung-woo sat inside, still pale but steady. A bodyguard drove. Another sat in the passenger seat. Get in. I hesitated. They're going to arrest you, Maurice, probably tomorrow, maybe tonight. For what? I didn't do anything. Doesn't matter. Someone made that evidence disappear. Someone edited the security footage. Someone is making sure this lands on you. I felt the weight of it crushing down. Then what am I supposed to do? He leaned forward. Work with me. Help me find who's behind this, and I'll make sure you walk away clean. Work with you, I laughed bitterly. You're a criminal. He didn't flinch. Yes, but I'm also the only person who believes you. The silence stretched between us. Why do you care? I asked quietly. Because you saved my life when you had every reason to walk away. And because whoever tried to kill me won't stop until you're in prison or dead. He extended his hand. So what's it going to be? I stared at his hand. At the choice that would change everything. I got in the SUV. We drove in silence through empty Seattle streets. Rain streaked the windows. The city looked different at this hour, darker, colder. Kyung-woo made a phone call in Korean. Short, clipped sentences. He hung up and looked at me. We're going to my property. You'll be safe there while we work. Safe from who? Everyone. 20 minutes later, we pulled up to a gated estate in Bellevue. Modern architecture, floor-to-ceiling windows, the kind of house that costs more than I'd make in 10 lifetimes. Inside, everything was white marble and dark wood. Minimal, expensive. A woman in a crisp suit met us in the foyer. Late 40s, Korean. She looked at me with the kind of assessment that missed nothing. This is Ms. Kang, Kyung-woo said. She handles my legal affairs. Ms. Kang nodded curtly. Ms. Halston, we have much to discuss. She led us to a conference room. A laptop sat open on the table. Surveillance footage paused on the screen. This is the hospital security feed from tonight, she said. Unedited. I acquired it before they could scrub it. She pressed play. I watched myself enter room 412 at 11:42 p.m. Watched myself check the IV bags. Watched my face change when I saw the green one. Then Dana walked in. Clear as day, 11:44 p.m. She was there, I whispered. Yes, Ms. Kang said, but the footage the police have shows a different timestamp. Someone altered it to make it look like Dana was on break when you claim she appeared. Who? Someone with administrative access to the hospital's security system. She pulled up another file. We're tracking the login credentials now. Kyung-woo leaned against the table. Dana didn't work alone. She had help inside the hospital, someone with power. Someone who could change records, authorize her hearing, and make evidence disappear. I felt my chest tighten. And that someone is still there, I said. Yes. Ms. Kang closed the laptop. Which means we need to identify them before the police file charges against you. You have 72 hours, maybe less. I looked at Kyung-woo, and if we don't find them? His expression was cold. Then you go to prison for a murder you prevented. Ms. Kang handed me a tablet. These are Dana Kwon's text messages from the past 6 months, recovered from her phone after her arrest. I scrolled through them. Most were in Korean, but a few were in English. One thread caught my attention. Unknown number, package delivered, room 412, green line active 11:40. Dana, confirmed. Nurse on rotation is Halston. She'll take the fall. Unknown number, good. Make sure she's the last one in the room. My hands went numb. They planned this, I whispered. Down to the minute, Ms. Kang said. Dana was instructed to set you up specifically. Someone gave her your schedule, your background, everything she needed to frame you. I looked up. Who's the unknown number? We're tracing it now, but whoever it is had access to hospital staffing records and patient assignments. Kyung-woo crossed his arms. That narrows it to administration, scheduling managers, maybe senior nursing staff. I thought about the people I worked with. People I trusted. How do we find out which one? Ms. Kang pulled up another file. We set a trap. She showed me a fabricated email, designed to look like it came from the police department. Subject, evidence recovery, case 47,821. Body, green IV bag recovered from disposal unit. Lab analysis scheduled for 8 a.m. tomorrow. All personnel involved will be contacted for statements. We send this to every administrator with security access, Ms. Kang explained, and we monitor who panics. Panics how? Kyung-woo's smile was cold. Whoever tries to access the evidence locker tonight is our traitor. My stomach churned. Because that meant someone I worked beside every shift, someone who smiled at me in the break room, had been planning my destruction for months. Send it, I said quietly. Ms. Kang's finger hovered over the button. Once we do this, there's no going back. If they realize it's a trap, they'll disappear. I met her eyes. Send it. She clicked. Here's what I need you to think about. Someone at that hospital decided her life was worth less than a payday. They chose her to take the fall because they thought no one would care. Would you stay silent if you were her, or would you fight back even if it meant risking everything? If you're invested in seeing justice, subscribe and drop a fire in the comments, because what happens next will expose the person she never saw coming. We waited. Ms. Kang monitored the hospital's security system remotely. Kyung-woo paced. I sat frozen, watching the clock. 8:47 p.m., nothing. 9:15 p.m., nothing. 9:33 p.m., Ms. Kang's laptop chimed. Someone just accessed the evidence locker system, she said. My heart stopped. Who? She pulled up the login credentials. User, R. Mendoza. Position, Director of Nursing Operations. Rebecca Mendoza. I felt like I'd been punched. Rebecca had hired me 3 years ago. She'd mentored me through my first codes. She'd written my performance reviews. She'd brought me coffee when I worked doubles. No, I whispered, not her. Ms. Kang pulled up Rebecca's personnel file. She's been with the hospital for 12 years, promoted to director 18 months ago, no disciplinary record, clean background check. Then why? Kyung-woo leaned over the laptop. Pull her financials. Ms. Kang's fingers flew across the keyboard. Bank statements appeared on screen. My breath caught. 3 deposits, each for $50,000, all within the past 6 months. Dates matched exactly with Dana's employment start, her badge access upgrades, and the night of the poisoning. She was paid to help them, I said numbly. She authorized Dana's hearing, Ms. Kang confirmed. Bypassed the normal background check protocols, gave her access to restricted areas, and tonight, she pulled up new footage, she just entered the evidence storage room. The video showed Rebecca moving quickly through the hallway, glancing around nervously. She swiped her badge, disappeared inside. Emerged 2 minutes later. Empty-handed. She's looking for the IV bag, Kyung-woo said. Which doesn't exist, Ms. Kang added. The email was fake. There's no recovered evidence. Rebecca hurried down the hallway, pulling out her phone. Ms. Kang intercepted the call. Rebecca's voice came through the speaker, tight with fear. They found it, the IV bag. It's in evidence. They're running lab tests in the morning. A male voice responded, calm, cold. Then make it disappear, tonight. I can't just. You've been paid, do your job. The line went dead. Ms. Kang looked at Kyung-woo. We have her. But I was still staring at Rebecca's face on the screen. The woman who'd smiled at me every shift. Who'd mentored me. Who'd sold me out for $150,000. We need her confession on record, Ms. Kang said. Kyung-woo shook his head. She'll lawyer up the second we approach her. Not if she thinks she's still winning. Ms. Kang pulled up Rebecca's phone records. She's been in contact with someone using a burner number. That's who she just called. We can't trace it directly, but the call pattern suggests someone high-level, someone who arranged the hit. I found my voice. What if we make her think the evidence is real? They both looked at me. She's panicking because she thinks the IV bag was recovered. What if we let her believe she can still fix it? Make her think she can destroy the evidence before morning? Miss Kang's eyes narrowed. You want to meet with her? Yes. Alone. She trusts me. If I tell her I'm scared, that I need help, that I don't know what to do, she'll talk. She always has. Kyung-woo stepped closer. And if she doesn't talk, if she tries to silence you instead? Then you'll be listening. I gestured to the surveillance equipment. Wire me, record everything, get the confession you need. Silence. Ms. Kang glanced at Kyung-woo. Some unspoken communication passed between them. Finally, he nodded. You wear a wire, we stay close, and the second it goes wrong, we pull you out. Ms. Kang handed me a phone. Text her, tell her you need to meet, tonight, somewhere private. My hands shook as I typed. Me, Rebecca, I'm scared. The detective thinks I poisoned Mr. Choi. Can we talk, please? 3 dots appeared immediately. Rebecca, of course, sweetie, where are you? Me, my apartment. Can you come? Rebecca, I'll be there in 20 minutes. I looked up at Kyung-woo. She's coming. Good. His expression was unreadable. Because tonight, she's going to tell us everything. Ms. Kang handed me a small device, barely bigger than a button. This goes under your collar. Don't touch it. Don't adjust it, just act natural. I clipped it on. Natural. As if anything about this was natural anymore. My apartment felt smaller with Kyung-woo's men hidden inside it. 2 in the bedroom closet, 1 in the bathroom. Ms. Kang in an unmarked van outside monitoring the audio feed. Kyung-woo insisted on staying in the kitchen, out of sight but close enough to move fast. I sat on my couch, trying to steady my breathing. A knock at the door. I opened it. Rebecca stood there in her scrubs, purse over her shoulder, concern etched across her face. The same face that had smiled at me for 3 years. Mari's honey, come here. She pulled me into a hug. I forced myself not to stiffen. I'm so sorry you're going through this, she whispered. We sat down. She took my hands. Tell me what happened. I repeated the story, the green IV bag, Dana, the missing evidence, the detective's questions. Rebecca listened, nodding sympathetically. This is terrible, she said softly, but you need to understand something. The hospital is protecting itself right now. They're going to look for someone to blame. I know. And without that evidence, she squeezed my hands, Mari's, it's going to be hard to prove your story. What do I do? She hesitated, then leaned closer. Maybe it's time to think about a different approach. What do you mean? The detective said the evidence disappeared, right? Well, maybe it's better that way. My stomach twisted. Better. If there's no physical proof, the case gets weaker. They can't charge you with attempted murder if they can't prove poison was involved. It becomes your word against. Against what? Missing documentation, altered footage. I stared at her. Are you saying I should be glad the evidence is gone? I'm saying maybe someone did you a favor. The words hung between us. Who would do that? I asked quietly. Rebecca's eyes flickered, just for a second. I don't know, but in this situation, Maurice, you have to be smart. You have to survive. Even if it means the truth stays buried. She pulled back slightly. The truth is you saved a patient's life. That's what matters. And Dana. Dana will face consequences for whatever she did. But you, she touched my cheek, you need to focus on protecting yourself. I looked at her. Really looked at her. And I saw it. The fear behind the sympathy. The calculation behind the concern. You made the evidence disappear, I said. Her hand froze. Rebecca's face went pale. Maurice, what are you talking about? The IV bag. You took it. You altered the security footage. You made sure Dana's background check never happened. She pulled her hand back. You're upset. You're not thinking clearly. How much did they pay you? Her eyes hardened. You need to be very careful right now. 150,000. I didn't blink. 3 payments, 50,000 each. She stood up. I don't know what you think you know. I know you authorized Dana's hearing. I know you gave her access to restricted areas. I know you've been in contact with whoever ordered the hit. Rebecca's jaw clenched. You can't prove any of that. Actually, we can. Kyung-woo stepped out of the kitchen. Rebecca stumbled backward, hand reaching into her purse. 2 of his men emerged from the bedroom, blocking the door. She froze. Sit down, Ms. Mendoza, Kyung-woo said quietly. Rebecca's hand slowly withdrew from her purse. Empty, she sank back onto the couch. You're making a mistake, she whispered. The only mistake, Kyung-woo said, was thinking you could frame an innocent woman and walk away clean. Ms. Kang's voice came through a speaker. We have everything on recording. The payments, the phone calls, your confession about making evidence disappear. Rebecca's composure cracked. I didn't have a choice. Everyone has a choice, I said. You don't understand, her voice broke. They threatened my daughter. They knew where she went to school. They knew her schedule. They said if I didn't help, they'd... She covered her face with her hands. I felt something twist in my chest. Not sympathy, but recognition. Fear makes people do terrible things. Who threatened you? Kyung-woo asked. Rebecca shook her head. I can't. You can, or you go to prison for conspiracy to commit murder. She looked up, mascara streaking her cheeks. If I tell you they'll kill me, they'll kill my daughter. If you don't tell me, Kyung-woo said, I can't protect either of you. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Rebecca reached into her purse, pulled out her phone, opened a contact. One name. Dr. James Parnell. My blood went cold. The attending physician, the one Dana claimed had called in the fake medication order. He's the one who recruited me, Rebecca whispered. He's the one who arranged everything, and he's not working alone. Kyung-woo took the phone. Who else? Rebecca met his eyes. Your brother. The room went silent. Kyung-woo's expression didn't change, but something shifted in his eyes, something cold and final. My brother is dead. No, Rebecca said quietly. He's not. Ms. Kang's voice cut through the speaker, confirming now, cross-referencing financial records. Kyung-woo didn't move. Explain. Rebecca's hands trembled. 3 months ago, Dr. Parnell approached me, said he was working with someone who needed access to your medical care, someone who knew your security protocols, your suppliers, your routines. And you believed him. He showed me proof, photos of your brother, alive, in Seoul. My mind raced. Kyung-woo had never mentioned a brother, never mentioned family at all. Kyung-min faked his death 2 years ago, Rebecca continued. He's been working with the Gwangju syndicate ever since, planning this. Kyung-woo's jaw tightened. Why now? Because you're meeting with the Vancouver family next week. If the alliance goes through, Gwangju loses their West Coast territory. She swallowed hard. Your brother gets paid $10 million to make sure that meeting never happens. Ms. Kang's voice. Financial records confirm. Dr. Parnell received $2 million from an offshore account registered to Kyung-min Choi. Same account funded Rebecca's payments and Dana's operations. I looked at Kyung-woo. His face was stone. Where is he? He asked. I don't know, Rebecca whispered. Dr. Parnell handles all communication. I've never met your brother. I've only seen photos. Kyung-woo pulled out his phone, made a call. Find Dr. James Parnell. Bring him to me, alive. He hung up. Then he looked at me. I'm sorry you got caught in this. It's not your fault. Yes, he said quietly, it is. Because his brother hadn't just tried to kill him. He'd tried to destroy an innocent woman's life to cover his tracks. And now, everyone involved would pay the price. They found Dr. Parnell at SeaTac Airport. Boarding pass to Singapore in his hand, one-way ticket. Kyung-woo's men brought him to the estate 2 hours later. I watched from the security room as they escorted him into the basement. Ms. Kang stood beside me. You don't have to see this. Yes, I do. Because whatever happened next, whatever Kyung-woo did to get answers, it was happening because I'd saved his life. I needed to own that. The interrogation lasted 30 minutes. I didn't hear most of it, but I saw Dr. Parnell's face change from arrogant to terrified to broken. When it ended, Kyung-woo walked into the security room. He gave us everything, locations, contact protocols, bank accounts. He paused. My brother's in Vancouver. He's been there for 6 months. What happens now? I handle family business. His eyes met mine. And you go back to your life. I blinked. What? Ms. Kang has prepared a full exoneration package. Evidence, testimony, recordings. By tomorrow morning, the hospital will reinstate you. The police will close the investigation. And Rebecca and Dr. Parnell will confess to conspiracy. Just like that. Just like that. But something felt wrong. What about your brother? Kyung-woo's expression went cold. He's my problem, not yours. I stepped closer. You saved me, let me help you. You already did. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. This is $50,000, enough to disappear if you want, enough to start over somewhere safe. I stared at the envelope. I don't want your money. Then what do you want? The truth came out before I could stop it. I want to know if saving you was worth destroying my peace. He didn't answer right away. Finally, I don't know yet. The honesty gutted me. Because neither did I. And that's when I realized the first attempt wasn't the real one. What would you have done in my place? Taken the money and disappeared, or stayed to see it through? Drop your answer in the comments and subscribe, because what happens when his brother makes his next move? You won't see coming. We need 1,000 comments to unlock the next chapter. Comment unlock now to unlock next chapter.